Good morning. This is Shanmugapriya from Department of Commerce and Economics. I am going to handle the topic fiscal policy objectives. I am handling third BA Economics. So, fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is nothing but a part of macroeconomics. This policy is also known as budgetary policy. One of the major functions of the government is to stabilize our economy. Current Indian government wants to achieve its fiscal deficit not only by reducing expenditure but also by increasing the tax collection. According to the Keynesian economics, when the government changes, the levels of taxation and the government spending also changes, which in turn influences the aggregate demand and level of economic activity. So, fiscal policy. The word fisc means state treasury and the fiscal policy refers to the policy concerned the use of state treasury. So, another term, government finance to achieve the macroeconomic goals. Fiscal policy, it mainly deals with the decisions that the government makes regarding the collection of revenue through taxation, spending the revenue. It is a sister strategy to the monetary policy through which a central bank influences the nation's money supply. Objectives of fiscal policy. Development by effective mobilization of the resources, reduction in inequalities of income and wealth, price stability and control of inflation, employment generation, reducing the deficit in the balance of payment, increasing national income, and development of infrastructure. So, we will describe these objectives briefly. We will describe these objectives briefly in the next slide. Fiscal policy is designed to achieve these certain objectives, which are as follows. That is, development by effective mobilization of resources. The principal objective of fiscal policy is to ensure rapid economic growth and development. The objective of the economic development can be achieved only by mobilization of financial resources. The central government and state governments in India have used fiscal policy to mobilize resources. What are the ways in which way our financial resources can be mobilized? First one, taxation. Through effective fiscal policy, the government aims to mobilize resources by way of direct taxes as well as indirect taxes. But most important sources of mobilization is taxation. Next one is public savings. Resources can be mobilized through public savings by reducing the government expenditure and increasing the surplus of public sector enterprises. Third one is public savings or private savings. That is, through effective fiscal measures such as tax benefits, government can raise the resources from private sector, household. Resources can be mobilized through government borrowings by way of treasury bills, government bonds, or loan from domestic or foreign parties. Reduction in inequalities of income and wealth. Mainly, fiscal policy aims at achieving equality and social justice by reducing income inequalities among different sections of the society. The direct taxes, such as income taxes, are charged more on the rich people as compared to the lower income groups. Indirect taxes are more in case of semi-luxury and luxury items, which are mostly consumed by the upper middle class people and the upper class. The government invests a significant proportion of its tax revenue in the implementation of poverty alleviation program to improve the condition of poor people in society. Next one is price stability and control. One of the main objectives of the fiscal policy is to control the inflation and stabilize price. So government has to aims to control the inflation by reducing fiscal deficiency, introducing tax saving schemes, productive use of financial resources. Employment generation. So unemployment, poverty is considered to be the main important drawback for our Indian economic development. So employment generation. Government is making every possible effort to increase employment in the country through effective fiscal measures. Investment in infrastructures, which in turn results in direct or indirect employment. Lower taxes and duties of SSI units encourage more investment and generate more employment. Various rural employment programs have been undertaken by the Government of India to solve problems in rural areas. Self-employment scheme is also taken to provide employment to technically qualified persons in the urban areas. Balanced regional development. There are various projects like building up dams on rivers, electricity, schools, roads, industrial projects run by the government to mitigate the regional imbalances in the country. This is done with the help of the public expenditure. Next one, reducing the deficit in the balance of payment. Sometimes government gives export incentive to the exporters to boost up the export from the country. In the same way, import also to be adopted to check import procedures. So, combination of the impact of the measures is improvement is in the balance of payment of the country. Next one, increases national income. It's the strength of fiscal policy that brings out the desired results in the economy. When the government wants to increase the income of the country, then it has to increase the direct and indirect rates in the country. There are some measures. What are they? Reduction in tax rates so that more people get motivated to deposit actual taxes. Next one, development of infrastructure. When the government of the concerned country spends money on the projects like railways, schools, dams, electricity, roads to increase the welfare of the citizens, it improves the infrastructure of the country. And improved infrastructure is the key to further speed up the economic growth of the country. Final one is foreign exchange earnings. Central government of the country gives incentives like exemption in custom duty, concession in excise duty while producing things in domestic markets. It motivates the foreign investors to increase the investment in the domestic country. Next one, methods of funding. How we are going to recover our loans. So the central government grants loan to various states inside and outside the country. When the government recovers these loans of the government gets more money, then it can now utilize for the welfare. Disinvestment. Government holds equity or shares of the public enterprises. It can raise its fund by selling its holding in the market. It leads to reduction in assets held by the government. Stances of fiscal policy. First one, neutral, expansionary, contractory. These terms will came across while dealing with the market structure. What does mean by this neutral? This is the equilibrium phase for the economy. The government spending is entirely funded by tax revenue and there is no need for borrowing. Expansionary. In this one, where the government spending exceeds the tax revenue, this happened mainly at the time of recessions. Government has to borrow more amount from the external ones. Contractory. This is the phase where the government spending is lower than the tax revenue. This is undertaken down to pay government debts. Instruments of fiscal policy. In what way the fiscal policy can be controlled? What are the instruments it can be taken into control? Budget, taxation, public expenditure and public debt. Budget. Budget is a detailed plan of operations for some specific future period. Budget will be presented by the Finance Minister of India. It is nothing but our annual financial statement of the year. These requirements includes expenditure on defense, internal security, necessary expenditures, and emergency services. Taxation. So we have two kinds of taxation. We all know the direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax, individual income tax and corporate tax and wealth tax. Indirect taxes, central excise tax, that is tax on manufactured goods. That is GST, VAT, service duty and customs duty. Public expenditure. Public expenditure is nothing but spending made by the government of the country on collective needs and wants such as pension, provision, infrastructures. Public expenditure is an important component of aggregate demand. It includes revenue expenditure as well as capital expenditure. Public debt. Public debt is nothing but money owned by the government agency. It consists of internal borrowings, borrowings from the public by means of treasury bills and government bonds, borrowings from the central government, external borrowing, foreign investments, international organization like World Bank, market borrowings. Budgetary surplus. What is that? It is a situation where the revenue earned by the government is more than the expenditure. When the government revenue is more than the expenditure, we have enough amount. That is called as budgetary surplus. The surplus amount can be used for the repayment of loans and can be kept as a reserve for the future. It can also be used to make desired purchases that were delayed or for the development of the economy. It is a sign that the government is running the economy efficiently. Budgetary deficit. It is a condition where the revenue earned by the government is less than the expenditure. At this time, the government reduces its expenditure on public welfare, increases tax rate and also opt for borrowings. The surplus from previous years can also be used. It is the sign that the government is not functioning effectively. Government expenditure. During the time of inflation, the government decides to reduce its expenditure from public welfare like police, military, courts, education. This results in the fall of aggregate demand, which leads to reduction in inflationary gap. Types of fiscal policy. Discretionary policy and non-discretionary fiscal policy. Under the discretionary policy, what are the terms that comes under discretionary policy? To cure recession, to control inflation, to increase government expenditure, which in turn results in reduction of taxes. To control inflation, raising taxes to control inflation, disposing of budget surplus. Under non-discretionary fiscal policy, transfer payment and personal income tax. And another one is corporate income tax and corporate dividend policy. Concept of deficient. So, revenue deficient. Revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Fiscal deficient, which is nothing but total expenditure. That is revenue expenditure plus capital expenditure minus total receipts. That is revenue and capital receipts. Achievements of fiscal policy in India. So, mobilization of resources, increase in savings, increase in capital formation, incentives to investment, reduction in income and reduction in inter-regional variation. Fiscal reforms. What are the fiscal reforms that has been taken down? Simplification of taxation system, improving tax to GDP ratio, reduction in rates of direct tax, reforms in indirect tax, introduction of service tax. Reduction in non-planned government expenditure, reduction in subsidies, closure of 6 public sector companies, disinvestment of public sector units, efforts to reduce government administrative expenses. Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. The Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act is an act to institute financial discipline that reduce the India's fiscal deficit, improve macroeconomic management and overall budget of the public funds by moving towards a balanced budget. What are its main objectives? To introduce transparent fiscal management system in the country, to introduce more equitable and manageable distribution of country's debt, to aim for the fiscal stability in the long run. Finally, the fiscal policy encompasses two separate but related decisions: public expenditure level and structure of taxes. It occupies the central place for maintaining full employment without inflationary forces in the economy. Fiscal policy of Government of India has been very successful in various fields such as mobilization of resources, increasing rate of savings and capital formation, developing cottage and small scale industries, and reducing the incidence of poverty.
The main problem in our country we are facing today is mainly unemployment and the inefficient use of mobilization of the resources. We have, being the agricultural country, we have to use the effective mobilization of the resources. So development by effective mobilization of the resources is the primary objective of the fiscal policy for the rapid economic growth. So we are recollecting the what are the objectives and what are the ways we can able to achieve our fiscal policy, that is by means of taxation, public savings, private savings. So reduction in inequalities of income and wealth. Again, we have to provide equal income distributions to different sectors of the society. That is, indirect taxes has to be more in case of semi-luxury and luxury items which are consumed by the upper middle class and the upper class people, so that the tax revenue is being proportionated between the poor people and the rich people. How to control the price stability and inflation? That is, government aims to control the inflation by reducing the fiscal deficit, introducing the tax saving schemes and the productive use of financial resources. Employment generation by means of new small scale industries, encouraging more investment and providing low taxes, and various rural employment program by the Government of India to solve problems in the rural areas. So self-employment program has been taken to provide employment to the technically qualified persons. So bank loans are being arranged for such people to provide employment. Balanced regional development provides better infrastructure to our country, which is very must essential nowadays. Projects like building up dams on rivers, electricity, schools and infrastructure provide, that is road, industrial products, to provide regional imbalances in the country. This is done by mainly by means of public expenditure. Export incentives being given to the exporters to boost up the export from the country. Import curbing measures should be adopted to check the import. National income can be increased if we reduce the unemployment problem and the poverty problem automatically, which leads to increases in the national income. Development of infrastructure like roads, railways, dams, electricity, not only it improves the welfare of the citizens, but also improves and maintains a good infrastructure for our country. Foreign exchange earnings, central government of the country gives incentives, customs duties, concessions, and producing things in domestic markets. It motivates the foreign investors to increase the investment in the domestic country. Methods of funding, already we have seen, that is recovery of loan and disinvestment. Fiscal policy, neutral, expansionary and contractionary. Instruments by means of budget, taxation, public expenditure and public debt, we can able to maintain our fiscal policy within the control. Public expenditure is spending by the government of the country on collective needs and the providing desires such as pension, provision, infrastructure, etc. It is an important component of the aggregate demand day by day. It includes the revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. We have discussed already related to revenue expenditure and capital expenditure in the previous classes. Public debts, that is internal borrowings, borrowings from the public, borrowings from the central bank, external borrowing, foreign investment, and market borrowings. Budgetary surplus is nothing but revenue is more than the expenditure. That surplus amount can be used for the next academic year, or it can be used for the economic development of the country. So it is a positive sign that a government is running effectively. In case of budget deficit, the revenue earned will be less than the expenditure. At this time, the government reduces its expenditure on public welfare. It increases tax rates and may opt for borrowing. So the surplus from the previous years can be used. It is a sign that the government is not running efficiently. Government expenditure during the time of inflation. So the public expenditure, that major amount is being given to the military, police, courts, education. It is reduced at the time of inflation, which will result in the fall of aggregate demand, and it leads to the reduction in inflationary gap. Fiscal policy, discretionary, non-discretionary, discretionary policy to cure a recession, increase government expenditure, reduces tax. To control inflation, rising tax and disposing of budget surplus. Non-discretionary fiscal policy, transfer payment and personal income tax, corporate income and corporate dividend policy. So these are the concept of deficient. So we have to look into control how these deficiencies can be avoided. So these are the things to be achieved for the final objective of fiscal policy. This is the Responsibility and Budget Act introduced in the year 2003 to introduce transparent fiscal system, to introduce more equitable and manageable distributions, and it aims for fiscal stability for India. So fiscal policy is nothing but related decisions, public expenditures, and the structure of taxes in order to provide final objectives of the fiscal policies. Both revenue and expenditure has to be balanced, and we have to spend more on public infrastructures, provide unemployment problem relief measures, and also effective mobilization of the resources, which in turn results in the improving our economic and national income of our country. The structure of taxes has to be refined in order to provide equality of wealth to both poor people as well as rich people. So full unemployment situation provides a growth in our Indian economy.